Good evening and welcome to Northern Maine Productions. Um, we're coming into the 2022 Christmas season, and as some of you might know, one of my favorite things about Christmas is Christmas lights. I really enjoy these old-fashioned lights. Hang on here just a second. I gotta turn this lamp up just a little bit more. There. I have a couple of different strings of C7 lights. C7 Christmas lights are about my favorite. I really like them really well. I got a couple of different styles of lights here that I wanted to show. I'm going to show the good points and the bad points of these, believe it or not. I have some bulbs here. Let's show these. These are very reminiscent of late 70s, 1980s. Beacon Electric replacement orange light bulbs, most likely manufactured for window candles. It comes from Ames, 77 cents. Unbelievable. This pack, Hollow Bright, probably from the 1980s, Laverdiers, 89 cents. I have an earlier pack here that has probably been mixed and matched. Laverdiers, 49 cents. I have this is Laurel lights. I don't know who sold them, no idea. Just a package of random white light bulbs, and it appears that probably there's a night light bulb in there. But 99 cents. And of course I have some of the more collectible and more favorite most favorite types of bulbs. General Electric Satin Bright. These are from about 68 to, I can't remember, 1974 maybe. I'm not sure how long they made these. I don't know. They might have even been made later, into the right up until the energy crisis. Obviously these were gone when the energy crisis came along. I think there was some other reasons that these were stopped making too, environmental reasons. I believe I read somewheres that the special Satin Bright shiny coating on these actually contains lead. But these are very, very beautiful bulbs when they're lit up. I'll give you some demonstrations of them here. I think if you look at some of the videos I did last year or maybe the year before, I don't know, I think I have a video with some Satin Bright bulbs already on my YouTube channel. But this is I'm not trying to get away from C7s too much, but this is a pack of C9s. These are very kind of a nostalgic thing to see these. You don't see them in the stores much anymore, especially in these nice packages. So anyway, we're going to look at a couple of strings of lights. The first ones we're going to look at, keep in mind we're not really paying much attention to the bulbs here. These are all, as near as I can tell, these are all imported light bulbs, just cheap, just like what's in those packages over there. I think these might have came from the same place those packages did, if I recall. But this string of lights here is made by, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but NOS. This string of lights is obviously seen outdoor use. There's a little bit of green corrosion on those, on that plug-in. And these have got probably one of the least desirable types of sockets. It's got those old clamshell sockets that are held together by the wire clip. That wire clip actually passes between these two shells and has got a little twist in it. If you can see, if that was actually turned, that would line up with those two little slots there and it would come apart. But these things are just absolute pain in the rear, garbage. The contacts don't work well in them. I mean, you can tell it's just got, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but just got some really poor, I wished I had a flashlight here, but I don't. Just got some really poor contacts in them things. Sometimes it's a struggle to actually make these things light up. The bulbs have a tendency to flicker and not make connection, which can be very, very irritating. Let's turn them on here and get a good look at them. Yeah, see, we got a red bulb here that's kind of being a pain in the rear. Will I throw these away? Probably not. I'll just keep monkeying with them, fixing them, but we'll get up close to them here. The blue one, and nice old chipped up old red bulb. This bulb right here, this white spade shaped bulb, is actually very new. I bought a couple of boxes of 25 multicoloreds. I don't even remember what website I got them off from. I bought them 6 or 7 years ago. They've been, you know, they're alright. So this set of lights right here, this is a I believe this is a Gilbert set of lights. This set of lights was actually a 15 bulb string. That one over there is a 15 bulb string too, but this one got damaged at some point in time, and there's actually 5 sockets missing off from it. I think it got ripped in two when the ice slid off the roof of the house. But that socket style right there typically is far superior to those ones. And there's even another style that's pretty good too. There's a style socket that's kind of squarish, and the clip goes around the bottom of it. They're not too bad either. Obviously, since this string was ripped in two, I think the tail end was ripped off in these, if I recall, because I believe that when I fixed these, I actually took the end plug off and reattached it onto the end of the wires, because this has still got the long lead-in wire on this end. Obviously the plug-in's not original. You know, these things are kind of old. And they do work though. I'll plug them in. This is one of the more dangerous things about these lights. You can see, you could probably get electrocuted pretty well. This set of lights has got modern transparent bulbs in them. It's even a purple one. I think I bought these at the same time that I bought the other boxes, you know, 6-7 years ago. What's significant about this set of lights, the only reason I kept it and kept it working, 'Cause that's all that remains of the lights that my mother used to have here in our house when I was a kid. These lights have been around for years and years and years, and I don't mind using them. You know, I try not to use very many of these lights anymore at a time, because obviously if you use too many of these, they will drive your light bill up quite high, which is not very hard to do here in this part of the country. As of the last year and a half or so, rising energy costs have driven the price of electricity up quite substantially here in northern Maine. Probably this year I'm going to probably use strictly C7s, even outdoors, and I'm probably going to use very few of them, because, you know, heating oil right now to heat the house is, today it was $5.49 a gallon. So 100 gallons of heating oil today cost me $549. That'll probably last me until the first of the year. Then I'll have to fill it up again, and hopefully it's come down by that time, but I'm not looking forward to that being the case at all. So yeah, I'm probably not going to have too many lights out this year. Yeah, again, if you've got sockets like these are far better than those old clamshell sockets like those. As you can see, that one right there is actually coming apart. And that's the one that was given trouble too. I probably ought to work on these things and see if I can get those to go back together. But these things were just really cheap. You know, this set of lights probably is from the very late 60s to early 70s. And typically by the 70s, these had a two-tone green cord on them. Sometimes they had a light green and a dark green wire instead of the red. But, you know, I'm sure that, you know, these were mainstream in the 1960s, red and green lights. You know, even in the late 40s, 50s. But I'm sure, you know, even by the 1970s, there were probably still literally millions of sets of those old-fashioned lights laying around in warehouses that were not sold, because in the 1960s, imported stuff started coming across from Japan. Miniature lights were coming into vogue, and boy, it didn't take long for those old little miniature incandescent lights to swing the axe on these old C7 and C9 lights, and especially the C6 lights. I mean, by the early 70s, the C6s were pretty much dead. There was a few. I think General Electric stopped making bulbs for C6s, you know, like this style bulb here. I think they stopped making them in 1974. And I think the last year they were actually made in their plant in Mexico. But, you know, even after the C6s died, it wasn't many more years and the C7s were slowly going away too. They rapidly went away, actually. I remember, you know, here in this house when I was a child, by the early 1980s, the C7s had gotten regulated to outdoor use only, and they were no longer on the Christmas tree. My mother opted to put the you know, the miniature incandescent lights on her tree, and I wasn't always real happy about that. I didn't care for those incandescent lights, those little miniature lights, even when I was a kid. But you know, now I've grown to appreciate them a little more. Now that I'm older, I tolerate them now. I actually have a few sets of vintage lights from the late 70s. I kind of do like the lights with the pedal type reflectors on them, or the badminton reflectors. I mean, they're not too bad. I have a set of Jingle Bell lights that were made by General Electric in the late 70s, and they're really nice too. But you know, General Electric was once, you know, General Electric and Westinghouse dominated the Christmas lighting market for many, many years, and you know, sadly, the import bulbs like these kind of drove General Electric very slowly out of the lighting business as far as Christmas lights. One of the issues that even when I was young, that whenever I saw those bulbs with the little GE logo on them, I always cringed, because I knew if I wiggled it just the wrong way, the bulb was going to blow. I don't know what it was about those GE bulbs, but man, they were so fragile. You just bump them a little bit and the bulbs would blow. Especially those satin bright light bulbs. You know, these old things here, some of these were pretty tough. I mean, these old Japanese bulbs, you know, don't get me wrong, you know, I've gotten plenty aggravated at them too when I didn't have very many spares around, and sometimes you could pop those pretty quickly too. But overall, I think the lifespan was way better on the Japanese bulbs. You know, from what I understand, General Electric rated their bulbs at less than 1,000 hours of use, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that these Japanese bulbs would last 2,000 to 3,000 hours at least. You know, probably because a lot of them were rated for 130 volts as opposed to 110 or 120. You know, they were probably rated for a little longer life. But anyways, that's just kind of my take on the C7s. I love them still to this day. I'm sad that they're pretty well a thing of the past now. I mean, you don't see people using them very much anymore, and probably within the next year or two you're probably going to see me not using them very much anymore either. I've got a few boxes of modern incandescent miniature lights here that I'll probably start to use, sadly. But anyways, probably if I do use many of these C7 lights in the near future, I'm going to be making a purchase here right off. I want some of these I want some new blinker bulbs. I don't have any real good C7 blinker bulbs, and I want some new ones. I'd like to gather up a pretty decent collection of those just to have them. I've got a few random C7s that blink, but man, the colors are just racked on them. They've been used for years and years, and I want some nice new looking bulbs. But anyway, I've rambled on here long enough. Have yourselves a great evening, and I'll look forward to uploading more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye bye.